So, another powerful man that I have the honor to introduce, Val Dufour. Val is an empowerment coach. He teaches his clients to use law of attraction to control their life instead of being controlled by it. We are not victims, we are powerful creators, capable of so much more than we are ever taught by society. He predominantly works with conscious entrepreneurs who want and expect more out of their life and are willing to work for it. More success, more love, more health, more sex, more toys, more happiness. Life is meant to be lived. Val has traveled the world, is a college graduate, was an officer in the Army, and a combat helicopter pilot. He even recently liquidated his entire net worth, over $150,000, and donated it all to charity, then and went... And it gets even better. Then, where was I? Sexy! He went and lived on the streets of San Diego for an entire month to prove that you can start at any level and still do anything you can imagine. Please help me welcome Val Dufour.
What's up, everybody? So I want to survey the audience a little bit. So who in here has read Think and Grow Rich or seen the movie The Secret? Yeah. All right, I figured this community would be most of you. So out of you who are familiar with the law of attraction, who understands and believes it, but you've seen very inconsistent results in your life with making it work all the time? Anyone? Nobody? You all are manifesting everything you want all the time? All right, so is there anyone in here who is not familiar with the law of attraction? Anyone? All right, so I don't have to explain the science behind it. So basically, I empower conscious entrepreneurs to use the law of attraction to control their life instead of being controlled by it. Like she said, we're not victims, we're conscious creators, and we're capable of so much more than we're ever taught. So I stand in front of you today, completely empowered. I am literally living my dharma, my life's purpose. Like this is not bad, right? Like I'm getting choked up even just talking about how passionate I am. Anyway, I'm in the flow right now. Like I literally wake up every day excited for everything that's happening. But I was not always this way. I was lost, I was limited, I was disempowered for like most of my adult life. Literally 3 years ago, I was completely asleep. Like, not only did I not know about spirituality, but I wasn't even interested in it. Like if people talk to me about energy or meditation or God forbid crystals, my eyes would gloss over. I would shut down. Like it was like I was the epitome of everything that is not in this room right now. But 3 years ago was also the worst year of my life. It started off pretty good. Like she said, I had a good job. I enjoyed my job. I was an officer in the military and I was a helicopter pilot. And I thought I was doing pretty good for myself. It felt good. I enjoyed it. I loved life. But I actually ended up getting a DUI. And it just flipped everything for me. Like, DUIs suck anyway. But I also thought my career was over. And then, the worst thing, my mom, who I was very close with, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And she ended up passing away. So, not only was I dealing with the DUI and looking for a new career, but my mom died, who was the love of my life, in the middle of all of that. So, needless to say, I was super lost. Like, more lost than I've ever been. Like, depressed. I was drinking ridiculous amounts. I was physically fighting with strangers and friends. I was breaking things. I was lost and angry. And in December of 2013, I knew something had to change. So I decided to give up drinking for a month.
and I started a intense fitness regimen, and I started reading self-help books for the first time in my life. It's amazing when shit's not going right, what you're open to. And oddly enough, the first book I read was a little ebook on law of attraction. And in the 30 minutes it took me to read that book, my life changed forever. Like, this stuff resonated with me like in such a way that I'd never felt before. I was hooked. Like, I wanted to know everything about it. I wanted to make it work in my life. So I started studying. So about a month later, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. And in the final chapter, where they talk about the 6 limiting fears that stop most of us from doing what we want, I came to the revelation that I had an extreme fear of poverty. Like, I was a fairly successful adult, but I was extremely limited by my fear of poverty. So in a very elevated emotional state, I had what I can only describe as a vision. And literally a fraction of a second, I saw everything that was going to happen for the next 2 years for me. Like, I was supposed to learn everything I could about the law of attraction, apply it, prove it, and then my life's purpose was to teach. But what I also had to do was face my biggest fear. I heard a little bit about that. So that's exactly what I did. Over the next 2 years, I started studying relentlessly. Like, when I get invested in something, I invest. I'm one of those bipolar extremes. So I studied everything I could, mentors, workshops, seminars, YouTube, and it started working, like amazingly working. I went from an older 2-wheel-drive SUV to a pair of luxury exotic sports cars worth over $150,000. I went from a 650 square foot apartment to a 1,500 square foot luxury high-rise condominium downtown. I changed careers. I got out of the Army. I got into real estate. I worked about 10 hours a week, and I made over $100,000 that year. My relationships increased with not only my friends, but my family members. Like, I love my family. Like, I look forward to going home to the Christmas party. When I started hearing people talk about how they hate to go home to Christmas, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy that that's not my life. So literally manifested positive change in every aspect of my life within the first year of finding this stuff. But I knew that I still had to face my fear. So last summer, which is pretty recent, I started liquidating everything I had: real estate, cars, all my personal possessions. I paid off all my debts, and I donated everything that was left. It was $148,500. Gave it all to charity. And I came here to San Diego. Best move of my life so far. Where I knew no one. I had one friend who, oddly enough, moved out here after I told her this story. I lived on the streets for 30 days. And it was an incredible experience for so many reasons. But I learned a lot of profound, deep life lessons. And one of the things I learned, which I'm talking to you a little bit about tonight, is that a lot of the reasons people don't see the consistent results is that we watch The Secret, or we get exposed to a lot of attraction, and it's like, oh, think happy thoughts, think about the things you want. What it really stems from is your subconscious mind. So it's the subconscious programs that are running your life right now. It's not what you think consciously, it's what your subconscious programs are. And that's where a lot of people fall short, because they don't put in the work that it takes to actually rewrite those programs. So I'm going to give you a little lesson today about what you need to do in your life to get to a point where you are in flow, where you are just manifesting shit all the time. My life is literally amazing. I can't explain to you how many amazing experiences I have, all amazing people I meet, and everything just works out. But basically, there's 4 steps to learning and embodying a skill. So it starts with unconscious incompetence. Is anyone familiar with this 4 steps of learning? Yeah. A few of you are. But I'm going to use it as an analogy. I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to compare it to driving a car, because I'm pretty sure everybody in this room will be able to relate to this. So, unconscious incompetence. That means you don't know what you don't know. That was me when I was asleep. I didn't know this stuff existed. I didn't care. I had no concern whatsoever. And that's you when you're 5 years old. You don't have to drive. You don't know that you could drive a car if when you get older. Your mom just picks you up and takes you wherever you need to go. You're basically a victim in that respect. You're at her whim. You're not in control. So, then you watch The Secret. And you wake up. And now,
You are consciously incompetent. So you know that you don't know how to do this shit. You believe it because you've seen it in your life. Like, you know it's real, but you're like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. And that's what you do whenever you want to get your first car. You're 15 years old. Your parents are like, no, you don't know how to drive. You got to learn how to drive before we're going to give you a car. So then you progress to the next level, which is conscious competence. That means you know how to do it, but it takes every ounce of your focus. This is you when you're 16 and you have your first car and you're in there, 10 and 2, radio's off. Don't fucking talk to me right now. I'm driving. I have to focus, blinker, everything. I mean, you were literally 100% mentally invested to get the job done. And in the manifesting world, that's when you get results. You're getting things done, but at the same time, you are putting a lot of work into it. Every morning, affirmations, morning ritual, visualizations every day. You're going to church, you're hanging out at all the spiritual events, you're meditating 5 hours a day. You're doing all the stuff that you need to do to get the job done, but it's work. It might feel good, don't get me wrong. Like, I love my job, this is work, but I love my job, so it might feel good, but it takes effort, right? It's intention, it takes all of your focus. Then you get to what I call being in flow. And that is unconscious competence. And that is when you've put in so much work that you've literally rewired the synapses of your mind to be consciously aware all the time for whatever you're looking to do. Life just unfolds effortlessly and easily. But it's a process, and that's where people fall short. Like, they watch The Secret, and it makes so much sense to them. And so they want to do it. So they go try for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and like maybe they see something, maybe they don't. But eventually they just lose faith. And they think that it's bullshit because, they don't have any real examples. At least I didn't. When I found this stuff, I literally had no solid example in my life. Like, I had to start searching hard to find real examples of how this stuff works. And eventually, obviously it did. But the point is that people get caught up in it. And out here, it's probably not as prevalent because you guys do have so many examples. And you do have so much support in the area. And yeah, but once you get to that level of just being in flow, and you have that subconsciously rewired into your mind, everything is just so much easier. So now that I'm speaking and coaching on this stuff, I created what I call the 90-day Conscious Creation Challenge, which is basically just 90 days of using lots and lots of tricks and tactics that I've discovered over the last 2 years and $200,000 invested to learn all these lessons myself, where you just accelerate this process. This is one of those things that is always working all the time, whether you believe it or not. Your subconscious mind is creating your reality, no matter what you think. But if you know about it, you can do it on a conscious level and rewire it to where it's creating the things you want instead of the things you don't want. And so for anyone here who's interested tonight, I do free 30-minute intro sessions where I kind of go over exactly what the coaching challenge provides, and we decide if it's a good fit to work together. Like, I'm kind of a high energy, high expectation guy, so I don't know, right? You're never going to tell it. But anyway, if any of you are interested, I got sign-up slips in the back, and my card is there. I'm Dufour, and I love you all.